Welcome to Make a Path Presents. My name's Ronnie Hayes, and today, let's talk The Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 12, Predictions. Alright guys, so I wrote down a couple things from the trailer. I'm going to run through this and let's break down what's coming up in The Walking Dead. We got the church explanation. I noticed they showed a preview with Morgan there, and I was actually kind of interested in this. You know, previously I know a bunch of us were getting a little annoyed with Morgan's All Life is Precious, but I noticed something when I was watching Rick explain everything that's going on to all the other members of the community. I was excited to see what Morgan's, opinions, objections were going to be. Now they cut off the clip before Morgan can pipe up. Maybe there's more of an angle there. I'm still fully 100% confident they're going to continue this Morgan Carol dynamic and use that to either truly motivate one or both of the characters and add more layers to their character. Anyway, in the church speech, we hear Rick say we gotta come for them before they come for us. And immediately when he said that, I thought of two things. I thought of the Hunters of Terminus, and I thought of the Governor. Now my brain's drawn a complete blank, but something was too damn familiar. I don't know if it was the Governor who said literally that exact line or something similar to that, or if it was the comic Governor. I know it had to have been, because I feel like when the Governor was giving his speech to those, to his people in season 4, it was something similar. But then again, when I think about the termites at Terminus and them coming, I'm thinking of Rick saying something similar like that in the church. Anyway, I'm drawing a blank. If you want to help me out before I find out myself, leave that down in the comment box. But something is just eerily similar with Rick saying we got to go for them before they come for us. And I'm drawing a blank on it. I could remember as soon as I shut this off, but right now I'm forgetting it. Now, we do see an RV and the van. Later on, it looks like we see an RV, the van, and a truck. So there's a good amount of warriors, a good amount of soldiers going with Rick on this mission. It's not just a handful of them. So they're going for a wham bam, thank you, kill them all, goodbye Negan. At least that's the vibe I'm getting from this. And we have to keep in mind that they show the guy they took from the hilltop. Not only did they take him because he knows the layout, but he starts drawing a map. Comic fans already kind of know what Negan's hideout is like. However, the map he's drawing looks a little different than what the hideout would be, if you get what I'm saying. This looks like a meeting area. It might even be an outpost. We do know, obviously they have different little areas, but if they meet and drop off supplies with the Saviors, obviously they're not going to be meeting at their main headquarters, so I'm almost betting for sure this is going to be only a meetup spot, because he even draws, 2 round areas that go down a main building, he writes, and then he writes a lot. So I don't know if that's the parking lot, the main building, and then behind the main building it would be something. I don't know. It looks like, smokestacks or something, because it was just 2 little circles. So I'm guessing that's just where they meet up with the Saviors. Now the big question is what's gonna happen, because at the end of this video I'm gonna briefly skim across what happens timeline wise in the comic. For those who aren't interested, who are only TV fans, I don't want to spoil that here, but we have to keep in mind, this is the last thing I'll say for the TV only fans, we have to keep in mind he took the guy from the hilltop, and Rick's main goal right now is not only to shut down the Saviors, and I think that's where a lot of the fans' attention is on right now, but Rick promised to get that guy back. What was that guy, Greg or something? So they have that guy, and they're threatening to kill him. Now Rick and his group can either get there and find the guy dead, they could get there and not find the guy, or they can get there and actually find the guy. Let's say this is the area they went to meet at, and they took the guy, so Rick and them actually go in, and I'm saying this is a stretch because this is not from the comic, but let's say Rick and them go in, they successfully get the hilltop guys back, and they send one of the guys who's still alive to go give Negan a message. That could be dangerous. I don't really expect TV Rick to do that. If he does, I'd be a little shocked. I would expect TV Rick to say, take us to your leader, or we're going to kill you. So I'm guessing possibly there could be some kind of successful mission giving us a false sense of security, as well as the survivors giving them a false sense of security. And then after that, something would go wrong. Now we're talking about the next episode and the episode after that, shit going majorly wrong. So in this one, I'm thinking it might be a dud, or it might be a successful mission. Or they could really jump the gun and be outnumbered here, and they could actually have to retreat and form a new plan. So yeah, we're going to go into comic material now. If you don't want to listen, leave your thoughts and opinions in that comment box for what you think is coming up in The Walking Dead episode 12. This is your final warning. We're going to get into the comic book timeline. 3, 2, 1. All right, so in the comic book, and this is what's really crazy, because from right now to the comic book is literally like 3 issues. And it's nuts. It's fast-paced. And on the show, we have 5 episodes left. And they have already gone faster than I thought they would, especially the last episode. I really thought they were going to stretch that out longer. Anyway, in the comic, just to refresh, after they left the hilltop, they ran into the Saviors. They've already done this, though, they remixed it with Abraham, Sasha, Daryl. But in the comic, you know, the guy's like, give us all you got, and Rick is like, sure, we'll give you everything we got. Andrea pops out of the van, and she's like, baka, 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 kills them all. Rick leaves one guy alive, says, go back and tell Negan, get the fuck out of here, you're done. You know, the hilltop is my playground, it's off limits. They go back to Alexandria, then Dwight shows up for the first time. In the TV show, he'll probably show up, obviously, the second time with the burnt face now, which is fucking awesome. But in the comic, he shows up. Abraham dies, which I feel like they're not going to do, even though they're setting up something weird. I'm hoping they don't go that direction, because they promised us they have something planned for him for All Out War. Anyway, that shit pops off. Rick realizes they have more guys, that they might be in trouble. The survivors might be in trouble. They might need more backup. From that point, they go back to the hilltop to get to re-meet up with Jesus and get some more information, some more supplies, and some more assistance. And on the way, they get interrupted with the Saviors, and bang, Negan shows up on the scene. Now here, they could be throwing misinformation at us. They're telling us the season finale is going to be the first appearance of Negan. Now, they could be doing it because they want to amp up the ratings, which is obviously something they would do, you know? Come on. It's the season finale. They're going to throw, you know, every juicy little bit of detail without ruining it for us fans. So telling us Negan's coming in the season finale is going to get everyone nuts and watching from this point on, especially the season finale. Or they could be giving us misinformation and hinting that he's going to be in the season finale, which is basically what they've been doing, but he could show up earlier. Now that would be very interesting, because now we would have to rethink everything we know about what would happen in the finale. If they are saying he's going to be in the finale, I'm more inclined to believe that's the case. However, there's a lot to fill between now and then, and they are remixing it in a certain way. I even put on Twitter that, oh shit, the Alexandria being attacked for the second time, it's not happening next week, yada yada yada. I had a lot of people comment and be like, oh, what are you talking about? It's, if you have spoilers, keep that shit to yourself. For the last time. A lot of people get spoilers and they're like, oh, it's just a rumor. No, it's not. You read it from a spoiler site. Anyway, I'm talking about next week, because from the comic viewpoint, you know, the timeline, Alexandria should have been attacked, or should be attacked, in the next episode. Now it's possible, now that I'm thinking about it, hold on. Rick and the crew could go out to actually hunt these guys down, and they could be tricking us like motherfuckers, and they could actually have the Saviors find Alexandria and do a mini attack, not really break in, not really destroy shit, but scare them a lot, whoever's still left there. So that's a possibility I didn't think of until now, where they can be like, okay, Rick and the crew are out there, that's gonna be like a dud mission, maybe that's even a successful mission, but bang, while they're over there, the Saviors, Dwight and them, are hitting Alexandria, and it makes us nervous and whoop-de-whoop. So they can actually remix it like that. So this is getting very interesting now. However, it's getting tricky at this point to predict what they're going to do next, because they are definitely remixing it. Because if it was from the comic book, if it was material from the comic book, the Saviors would just be hitting Alexandria pretty much, you know what I'm saying? And all the previews they're showing us isn't that. But what they're doing clever, and that I like with the previews, is they're showing us this, like for example, Jesus and them on the road, whoop-de-whoop, and they didn't show a shit about the hilltop. They kind of showed them getting there, but we didn't know it at the time. With this new trailer, we see them in this little factory area. They're on the run, so we go from the church, yeah, let's do this, to on the road, to the factory area, or maybe whatever store they're meeting at, to rescue this guy, when they could actually be hiding the real meat of the story, which is something that's happening other than what they're showing us, which, as confusing as that sounds, I'm almost sure that's the direction they're gonna go. So listen, thoughts and opinions down in that comment box. If you have anything that's crazy spoilery from the comics that we're talking about, please do everyone a favor and just do a spoiler tag, space, and then talk away. All right, guys, I did my first impression review of this episode. I uploaded that, and also in a couple days I'm gonna do my afterthoughts video going in depth of the previous episode, so check out that. And I'm gonna be bringing back the comic cover videos. I love doing those. They don't get a lot of views really, but I freaking love them, absolutely love them. So if you're a comic fan and you have not checked those out, I go over facts and foreshadowing and information you didn't know was on the covers. We look at the symbolism, we look at if they were actual images from inside the story, panels, break it down and everything. It's a nice breakdown. So if you haven't, I'm gonna leave in this eye up here, I don't even know what to call that, but if you click on that on the phone or on a computer, it'll drop down, and I'm gonna leave some suggestions here for other videos to watch, and I'll put that playlist of the comic covers in that eye somewhere up in here. So thoughts and opinions in that comment box. Huge thank you for 43,000 subscribers on the road to 100K. Keep liking, keep sharing, keep spreading the word of mouth, and keep putting your thoughts and opinions down there. I'm done talking. It's your turn. Subscribe now.